These are the review questions for Chapter 1, The Science of Electricity. The content is by the authors of the textbook, Gerrish, Duggar, and Roberts, read by Hector Vladimir. Define the following terms. Matter is anything that occupies space and mass. Element is the smallest component of matter which retains all unique attributes of a substance. Compound is the combination of one or more elements to make substances of distinct properties. Atom is the smallest part of matter. A molecule is a combination of two or more atoms that provide distinct characteristics. Name common elements. Sulfur, copper, and radon are just a few. See periodic table for more elements. What is atomic weight? The approximate number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. What is the atomic number? The number of protons or electrons in an atom. What is ionization? When an atom loses or gains an electron which makes it unbalanced, positively or negatively. How does a positive ion form? When an atom loses one or more electrons, too many. It lacks enough electrons. Define negative ion. When an atom gains one or more electrons, too many. It has too many electrons. What is static electricity? When atoms of a material are positively or negatively ionized, this ionization charge is temporarily maintained statically or immobile. What is a coulomb? Unit of measurement for current, or a collection of 6.24 times 10 to the 18th power of electrons. What is an electrostatic field? The invisible area of distortion or force around a charged body. What is meant by a negatively charged body? When a body's atoms are negatively ionized through induction or conduction. What is induction? It is the transfer of atoms through an electrostatic field. What are the three main components of a simple electrical circuit? A voltage, power source, a conductor, and a load or resistance. What supplies the electrons that would flow through the circuit? The power source or voltage. Where is the electrical energy converted to another form of energy in the circuit? At the load or resistance location. What two symbols are commonly used for the source of energy of a circuit? A capital E or a capital V. The movement of electrons is known as current. Opposition to current flow is called resistance. Opposition to current is measured in what unit of measurement? Ohms. Electrical pressure is measured in what unit of measurement? Volts. The theory that states that electron flow from negative to positive poles of a power source is the electron flow theory. When the polarity of the circuit is important, what circuit flow theory is being used? They are both the electron flow theory and the conventional theory. What type of current flows in only one direction? Direct current. What type of current alternates direction on a cycle? Alternating current or AC. What type of circuit provides only one path for electron flow? A series circuit. What type of circuit provides more than one path for electron flow? A parallel circuit. What voltage is needed to produce a current of 2 amps through a resistance of 6 ohms. For this we use the Ohm's law formula, which could be arranged as E, or voltage, equals I, or current, times R, or resistance. In this case, voltage equals to 2 amps times 6 ohms, which we get voltage to equal 12 volts. When 12 volts are connected to 4 ohms, a current equal to blank flows through the resistance. For this we use the Ohm's law formula, again arranged as I equals E divided R. That is, current equals voltage divided resistance, and we get current equals to 12 divided 4 in this case. So current in this case is 3 amps. The resistance of blank produces a current equals to 8 amps when connected to 24 volts. Again, we use the Ohm's law formula arranged for resistance equals to voltage divided current. In this case, we get resistance equals to 24, that's 24 volts, divided 8, or 8 amps. In this case, we get an answer of 3 ohms for the resistance. How many volts does 4 kV represent? Since K represents kilo, that's 1000. 4 times 1000 equals to 4000 volts. What is 8 ohms or mega ohms equal to in K ohms or kilo ohms? Since kilo or K equals to 1000, move the decimal point 3 zeros to the left. We get 8 mega ohms, that's 8 million ohms. That is 8 followed by 6 zeros. The decimal point is after the 6 zeros, so you move it back to the left 3 decimal points. That will leave you with 8,000 kilo ohms. So there are 8,000 kilo ohms in 8 million or 8 mega ohms. Write 3 millivolts as a decimal unit of voltage. Since milli equals to 0.001, 3 millivolt is 0.003 volts. 1 millivolt is how much larger than 1 microvolt? 1 millivolt equals to 0.001 volts. 1 microvolt equals to 0.000001 volt. That's 0.5 zeros, then a 1 volts. We multiply the microvolts into 1000, which is the milli part, and we get 0.001. So in fact 1 millivolt is 1000 times larger than 1 microvolt. How many milliamps are there in 20 amps? To get the answer for that, since 1 milliamp equals to 0.001 amp, all you have to do is divide 20 for the 20 amps into the milliamps, which is 0.001. And when you divide, you get 20,000. So there are 20,000 milliamps in 20 amps. Write 3 millivolts as a decimal unit of voltage. That would be 0.003 volts. 1 millivolt is how much larger than 1 microvolt? 1 millivolt is 0.001 volts, and 1 microvolt is 0.000001 volts. So all you have to do is divide 0.0001 into 0.000001, and you get 1,000. So 1 millivolts is 1,000 times larger than 1 microvolt. Is 5 times 10 to the negative third or negative 3 power larger than 5 times 10 to the negative 6 power? 10 to the negative 3 power equals to 0.001 when you put that into a calculator, and 10 to the negative 6 power equals to 0.000001. So the less zeros after the decimal, the larger the number is, because it is closer to a whole number. So yes, 5 times 10 to the negative third power is larger than 5 times 10 to the negative sixth power. Express 6 times 10 to the negative 6 with a symbol. That would be 6 times 10 to the negative 6 equals to 0.000006, which is the same as 6 microvolts. An electron displays an blank charge. A proton displays an blank charge, and a neutron displays an blank charge. Fill in the blanks. That would be an electron displays a negative charge, a proton displays a positive charge, and a neutron displays a neutral charge. What is the name for the electrical unit based on the number of electrons? How many electrons does it represent? That unit would be a coulomb, and it would represent 6.24 times 10 to the 18th power of electrons. What are the two laws of electrostatic charges? Opposite charged bodies attract, and like charged bodies repel. The force behind electron movement is called, that would be voltage or electromotive force, EMF. When an atom loses an electron, it becomes blank, ionized. The invisible lines of force that surrounds a charged body is called the electrostatic field. What causes ionization to occur? When EMF causes electrons to be released from atoms. Matter is found in what three forms? In liquid, solid, and gas. Matter is found in one more form. Can you name it? Plasma. The smallest part of a compound is called an blank element. What are the three basic parts of a circuit? That would be a source, a conductor, and a load. There is also sometimes a fourth part called a switch. Which part of circuit converts the electrical energy to another form of energy? That would be the load. Which type of fire extinguisher is used for electrical fires? That would be type C fire extinguishers. Which part of the circuit provides the current path? That would be the conductor. Write 16,000 volts with a prefix. That would be 16 kV, lowercase k and capital V. Write 0.005 volts with a prefix. That would be 5 microvolts, or lowercase m, capital V. Write 3 forms of the Ohm's law. First form is E equals I times R, or voltage equals current times resistance. Second form would be current, which is I, equals to voltage, or E, divided R, or resistance. Third form would be resistance, or R, equals to voltage, or E, divided I, or current. How much voltage is required to force 3 amps through a resistance of 36 ohms? Using the Ohm's law formula, E equals I times R, we get E equals 3 times 36, in this case 3 amps times 36 ohms, and we get a voltage of 108. How much current will 24 ohms resistor provide when connected to a 6-volt source? So using the Ohm's law formula for current, I equals E divided R, we get I equals 6, which is 6 volts divided 24 ohms, and we get 0.25 amps for current. A meter indicated 5 amps in a simple circuit connected to a 12-volt source. How much resistance is present? Again, using Ohm's law for resistance, or R equals E divided I, we get resistance equals to 12, which is 12 volts, divided 5, or 5 amps. In this case, we get a resistance of 2.4 ohms. How much current will a 12-volt car battery produce when connected to a lamp with a 600 ohm resistance value? Again, using Ohm's law formula for current, or I, equals to, in this case, 12 volts divided 600 ohms, which gives us a current of 0.02 amps. A 5 kilo ohm resistance connected to 100 volt source will produce how much current? Rearranging the Ohm's law formula for current, or I equals to E divided R. In this case, we get current equals to 100 volts divided 5,000, which is 5 kilo ohms, and we in this case get a current of 0.02 amps. A 6-volt battery is connected to a 240 ohm lamp. What is the expected amount of amperes produced by this circuit? Rearranging the Ohm's law formula for current, I equals E divided R. Again, we get I equals 6 volts divided 240 ohms, or 0.025 amps. How much voltage is needed to produce a current of 50 microamps through a resistance of 1 kilo ohm? Again, rearranging the Ohm's law formula for voltage, or E equals to I times R, or voltage equals to current times resistance, we get E equals to, in this case, 0.000050 times 1000. That would be 50 microamps times 1000 ohms. And we get a voltage of 0.05 volts. And that is the end for the review questions for Chapter 1, the Science of Electricity. Thank you very much.